think we're good.
Locked and loaded. Perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the AR Soccer Show. My name's AJ. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. So we are missing our third musketeer, which is usually Rex. So he's out on vacation. We decided to give him a week off because he's such a hardworking guy. But how are we doing today, Joey B?
No complaints, really. I'm happy Wolves came away with the win today in Europa. It was probably a very undeserved win, and Rui Patricio saved us a ton of times, but, just survived in advance. But we got a tough game coming up.
Perfect. And yeah, we'll dive a little deeper into matches and the matches in the following week in the Europa League, because all domestic competitions are ended for the most part. I think La Liga has their Copa del Rey rescheduled for some time later on, but for the most part, we're in European competition with Champions League and the Europa League. So let's get started. But we're actually going to recap some stuff that happened. So we had the FA Cup, which happened this previous weekend, that saw Arsenal surprisingly take down Chelsea. Personally, on my end, I thought Chelsea were going to win this. I saw everyone on Twitter and Reddit rooting for Chelsea. A lot of people on the Chelsea money line, which is very nicely priced.
Yeah, I think a lot of people came away with some good profit there. I know you had the over, if I remember correctly, so that came through. It is a little sad as a Wolves fan that Arsenal won because they get to take that spot in Europa. But I know we've talked about it a couple times on the show. Just that extra year, just a year of rest from European competition may be good for Wolves. I mean, they've had 6 extra games before Europa even started, as well as Europe itself. I don't know. The season's gone on for over a year, so I think it's the first time they've had the one team had a season for a year. So the rest would be good. But yeah, I know I was talking to a friend, and just both yellow cards for Kovacic were pretty soft, and kind of put Chelsea kind of behind the ball, obviously, after, and kind of like on the back foot. But I mean, Arsenal is as good as anybody the last kind of end of the season for sure.
Yeah, they did end strong. But jumping back to the Wolves, so I know they have a couple players that might be on the transfer move with Jimenez. I've heard some rumors about Traore. So do you think them not getting that Europa League spot, well, they still do have a chance in the actual Europa League to get a European spot. However, that's going to be a tough challenge for them. Do you think that affects the transfers of the players and their plans for the following season?
I think some players may want to go. I'm fully expecting Raul Jimenez to be gone either way. Just like endless number of rumors coming out about it. Like, my thought is, where there's smoke, there's fire in that regard. I wouldn't be upset about losing him. He's 29. He's kind of old, or oldish, like on the back end. Adama Traore, I think, if it's under like 90 million, I would be sad losing him. But if it's over that, like, that's a good return, I think. But he's such a dynamic young player that it would be hard to lose him for sure. But I do think either way, I think Raul will be gone, and if he's not, then that's great for us. But I don't think we'll lose probably some of our young depth. Like, the jersey I have now is Morgan Gibbs White, and he is like a young player who's always been the next guy coming up, but has never panned out. And I've seen rumors about him, so we may lose some of our younger players, or some random people here and there. But I don't think it will be a huge effect. Now, if it's 2 years in a row, that's going to be a different question for sure.
Mm-hmm. Especially because Wolves have made their comeback pretty strong in the Premier League and in European spotlight. So got to keep trending upwards. But so next season, actually, we have some newcomers in the Premier League. So very exciting. So if you guys don't follow the Championship, there's 3 teams that get promoted alongside 3 teams in the Premier League that get relegated. In the playoff for the Championship, Fulham actually edged Brentford. That was a very good match. Fulham will be joining West Brom and Leeds on the come up. Did you happen to watch any of those matches?
I watched the Brentford Fulham game. Obviously the final, but I just, in moments like that, you got to feel bad for the goalie. Like, as good as you feel for Fulham, you got to feel bad for the goalie. But Brentford, I mean, they had multiple chances at the end of the season to get second. So in that regard, I don't feel terrible for him. But it would have been a good story. I think it's been since like the 40s since they've been in the Premier League. But Fulham has some talent. I don't. I feel like West Brom and Fulham may be back down next year. So who knows? I think everyone's going to expect Leeds to be like Sheffield and Wolves the last couple of years, and I think they should be pretty good. And it depends on who they bring in. But I mean, for the most part, West Brom and Fulham have a lot of like money to spend, I think, to give them any sort of shot next year.
Yeah, and you mentioned some goalkeeping blunders from Brentford. I mean, as a United fan with David De Gea in goal, I feel no sympathy for the goalkeeping blunders.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share over the past season, but in regards to Fulham, I hope they come up. They did come through, and they are on the up to the Premier League. Um, in the past decade, I would say they were a pretty main staple in the Premier League here and there. So I'm excited to see them up again. But a lot of people are saying, like you mentioned, Fulham and West Brom are going to come right back. They're going to come up and then straight back down to the Championship, with Leeds being the only one out of this trio to survive another season. So it'll be interesting. I'm a big Leeds guy just because of their manager.
Yeah.
Although they do have a huge rivalry with United.
Yeah. I mean, they have. I think if you haven't watched their series on Amazon, is really good. And I do think their history is very strong. And I think even West Brom and Fulham both have a pretty strong Premier League history. So we're getting some good teams back up, good quality matchups, I think, across the board for everyone.
Agreed. So perfect. So yeah, so this past week, like we mentioned, we had European soccer. So Joey B, alongside with La Liga, he's actually our European king. So he's going to give us a Europa League recap. But I just want to start the recap. Just United advancing, just another day, another dollar for us. Was a little rough game for us, but I mean we were up 5-0 on aggregate, so not too much trouble to get by. So United on to the next round.
Yeah, I think for my preview, they had 2 feet in the next round already. They just needed to show up and play the game. They were pretty much. I mean, nothing's 100%, but they're pretty much 100% into the next round. But yeah, in addition to Man U, Leverkusen held on to their advantage. Same with Shakhtar and Basel. And then Inter and who did they play? Getafe played in a one-leg game, and Inter won 2-0. Sevilla and Roma played today, and Sevilla won 2-0. I think the Sevilla-Roma game, I expected more. Roma just looked like the side that started the Serie A. Serie A, they kind of came. They ended well, and I think a lot of people expected that form to continue. But I mean, I think that also goes to show how good Sevilla is. That's going to be a team to watch out for, not just for Wolves, but Man U if they get by Wolves too. And then another Wolves had a 1-1 aggregate going into the day and narrowly came out with a 1-0 win. They had a goal. They also had a little VAR luck today, which it doesn't normally happen to us, but it was a really, really close offsides call that kind of went our way to take a goal back. But Patricio had maybe 10 good saves, if like maybe close to 10. I don't know exactly 10, but he saved us today like time and time again. And then again, just like Wolves just seem to miss the like killer instinct to put games away. We should have gone up 2-0 a handful of times, but yeah, that's that. And then the only other game, the biggest upset I think was Copenhagen over Besiktasir, the Turkish side who just won the Super League. I think a lot of people expected more from them, but they went into the game having a 1-0 advantage and then lost 3-0 to Copenhagen yesterday. So Copenhagen, they've gotten lucky, I think, so far. They barely made it out of the group stage. They beat Celtic, beat Besiktasir, and now they have a train coming towards them. And I don't think they're going to get out of the way quick enough. But
yeah, so why don't we jump into previews and talk about this? So he did allude to it. So the train is United. We got good rest that we needed. So we had the previous week, we got full rest. Last match, we were able to rest most people, except Harry Maguire played 90, Pogba came on for 30, and Martial came on for 10 minutes, which I thought was a little weird. I mean, you're up 5-0 on aggregate. They were down 1-0 in the match, so still up 5-1 on aggregate. I don't think anyone was really sweating it, yet the stars came in. So we'll see if that was just to either keep them in form or keep the legs fresh, I guess. Other players did get full rest, which is what I wanted to see out of this week.
Yeah, I think that's important, especially after the end of the Premier League. And they turn around and play on Monday, so it's only like 4 or 5 days rest. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think we have two good match. Two of the three other matchups are pretty good. The third one's Shakhtar and Basel. I would expect Shakhtar is going to advance, but they're hard teams to predict, I think. So the other two, we have Inter and Bayer Leverkusen. I wish Rex was here so he could kind of give us a spiel on Inter, but I thought they looked pretty good against Getafe. And then them against Bayer Leverkusen. Kai Havertz will have to play well. Their striker, I don't know his name, but he scored today, I think will be a key player. But I don't know. You have any thoughts here? With these
I think Inter got a little lucky because if I recall correctly, Getafe had a penalty miss.
Oh, right.
And that kind of that's a huge momentum shifter. You're down 1-0, you get the PK. And I don't recall if it was missed or if it was saved, but either way, a goal wasn't scored. And then Inter just hold on and then bagged the second. So
we got I think Rex is in the chat commenting for us, and he said Forza Inter. So, but yeah, and I mean, I don't know which way this game will go. It depends. Like Leverkusen, I like just on without looking at a line or anything, I would want to take the over in this game. But I feel like I just look at the Leverkusen team and just think they score goals, but in reality, they probably don't score as many as I think. But Inter's defense is always questionable, and you never know when some of those guys slip up or anything. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be a good game. I'll definitely watch it. I don't think any lines are out, so we won't have any bets on most of the Europa League games. Then the other one is Wolves and Sevilla. And the two teams, they're basically mirror images of each other in my mind. I think it's the most intriguing matchup tactically. Both of them like sitting back and kind of soaking up pressure and like kind of play a methodical game. So it'll be a really interesting contrast of these two teams for sure.
Yeah, and the winner of Wolves Sevilla takes on United, which will be an interesting one because if Wolves win, that will be United's 8th time playing in the last 2 seasons. And a couple seasons ago, actually, Sevilla knocked out United out of the Champions League when we were under Jose Mourinho's rule. So a little revenge angle on that one. However, there was a point I wanted to make regarding Inter and Bayern Leverkusen, and I feel like every time I back Leverkusen, they disappoint me. So for Rex's sake, I'm gonna back Inter, and hopefully I can wish them for him so they lose. But that will be a good matchup. And like you mentioned, Wolves Sevilla will be a very good matchup. And I'm pretty sure Shakhtar and Basel will be a great game, but I just don't follow those teams as closely as I would like to.
Yeah, I think it should be. I mean, Shakhtar to me seems to have a lot of talent. They have a ton of Brazilians, so which is a odd thing for a Ukrainian team. I think they've just developed this pipeline for them, and they all kind of feel comfortable going there. But yeah, I mean, the Shakhtar Basel are going to be in the semifinal. I think that would be great for both those clubs. But then whoever enter Leverkusen have I don't want to say an easy match, but they don't have to go up against Man U or Sevilla or anything. I think those teams would rather play Shakhtar or Basel. And similar to the Champions League, all these games are taking place in Germany. So they're kind of like a mini tournament all in Germany. So Leverkusen has a slight home field advantage. They know the stadiums, I guess, they're playing in, but obviously no fans. So I don't know how far this home field advantage for them would take them. So.
Yeah, and just a refresher for people, I believe these are one-leg matches, so a winner-take-all. We're used to Champions League's ties being away and home, but obviously with the pandemic, it's just a winner-take-all. Cool. So anything else to add for the Europa League? Any predictions? Who do you see coming on top out of these matches?
So I think United have an easy path. I got a bet on that game, and then, the Inter-Bayer one that may go to PKs. I just don't, but it may be like a game that's like 2-2 and then it's 3-3 after extra time or something. Some reason I see those teams and see a lot of goals. And then Wolves Sevilla. Wolves look good, but they don't look great. Sevilla, I think, will advance, but that may just me being a little pessimistic about Wolves at the moment. And then I think Shakhtar get past Basel. So those are my 4 picks.
I think I'm virtually on the same page as you. I think Sevilla Wolves will be the closest matchup, just because Sevilla finished 4th in La Liga, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Um,
and
so
they were pretty close to Atletico.
yeah, they bottled that one because they were way ahead of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
So they're a very quality side as well. That can't be underestimated. But enough about Europa League. Let's jump straight into Champions League. Something that we've both been waiting for a long time to come back, and it's finally here. And we're hitting the ground running. So these matches take place. So we have a couple matches tomorrow, a couple matches on Saturday. And then the next round of fixtures take place, next week.
Yeah.
So to start us off, we're just highlighting a couple matches that we really want to dig deep into. So the first one we're going to start off with is Manchester City versus Real Madrid. City take a 2-1 aggregate lead back home to Manchester. This one's interesting to me because Ramos ended up getting a red card for Real Madrid towards the tail end of the first fixture. Aguero's been hurt for City. And then a article came out today, or quote, regarding Gareth Bale saying he didn't travel with the team to play with them, not because of injury, not because of family, not because of the virus, simply because he didn't want to. And I feel a little bad, a little sad for him, but that kind of sums up his tenure at Madrid. Hasn't been as fruitful as all of us had hoped. I personally thought when he made that move to Madrid, he was going to be the second coming of Ronaldo. Tall, athletic winger, scores goals, a rocket of a boot. But here we are, a little disappointing. Personally, on Bale, I would like to see him make a move, but he just has Alexis Sanchez type wages where people are paying him 20, 30, 40 million a year, and it's just hard to offload that money.
Yeah, I mean, he's just at this point collecting his paycheck for as little work as he can put in. It feels like. So I mean, I don't blame. I guess if he didn't want to, I mean, whatever. I don't know what to make of it. Is he out of contract after this year, or is he just? Do you know?
I still believe he's tied down for a little bit.
Yeah, so you wonder what the future for him is, if he's gonna just not play or want a loan or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think he seems to play a lot of golf from what I've read on the internet. So.
This is true. But diving into the match, I believe Real Madrid sit at plus 500 to make it into the next round. And I think that price is very, very steep. I mean, Real Madrid have been the Champions League team of the past 5 to 10 years. Obviously, they've lost Mr. Champions League in Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
However, plus 500 for the best team in Spain, just down 1 goal in aggregate. We're not talking 2, 3, 4 deficit, 1 goal. What do you make of this game? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think Pep finds ways to lose in the Champions League, and is I do like Pep. I like his play style, and I just like his mentality about soccer, I guess. But just I don't know. I think we may see this game go to extra time. Would be my first guess. It may be 2-1 to Madrid, but I don't know. I think Man City should pull it out. I agree that the price of plus 500 on Madrid is very enticing, but I don't know. I think just City may just have too much talent, too much drive to kind of get over it. But I say that probably every year about them, and they end up crashing out early. So
yeah, it would be very City-like, especially because they haven't had much to play for the last couple months or since the restart.
Right.
They're out of the Premier League. They're out of the FA Cup. This was the only thing they were looking forward to.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they were able to put all their focus towards it. But I think we'll dive a little bit more into it on our best bets. I personally have a play, and I know Joey has one. So we'll get into that one a little bit longer. The next game, and I believe this one's tomorrow as well.
I think it's Saturday.
Saturday, pardon me. So Saturday, you have Barcelona versus Napoli at the Camp Nou in Spain. This one is 1-1 aggregate. So initially looking at this game, I think it's very doable for Napoli to advance. They sit plus 200 to advance to the next round. Again, if you're like Rex and you like long shot dogs, I don't think this is a crazy long shot dog. I think they have a very viable chance for this one. Barcelona didn't look that hot towards the tail end of La Liga. Napoli are very inconsistent, so you don't know if you're going to get a good Napoli side or a
Yeah.
poor Napoli side. But I believe they beat Lazio 3-0 on the final day of the Serie A. So
Right.
good momentum heading into this match.
Yeah, I agree. I just think Barca. I mean, you saw Messi's comments. I think before their last game, and they went out and beat Alves or whoever they played like 4-0. I think pretty easily. I mean, I think they're two super inconsistent sides. Being at home helps Barca even without any fans. But yeah, 1-1. I could see. Yeah, I don't know. I think Barca may win this by 2 goals just to get out of it. But I don't disagree that Napoli look like a live dog here for sure.
Yeah, and there are some injuries or concerns for Barcelona. I know Arturo Vidal is out, Sergio Busquets are out, so that's your heart of midfield and a solid defensive pair.
Right.
Arturo Vidal box to box gives 100% for the 90 minutes, so definitely going to be missing his energy. But one thing that I just want to mention is you say there's no fans for home field advantage, but with this whole pandemic going on, I feel like there might be more of a home field advantage just because you don't have to travel.
Yeah.
These teams have to leave their home city, get on a plane where everyone fears the virus right now,
Right.
head to a foreign country, stay in a hotel, get adjusted to that versus a team where they just stay where they're used to.
Right.
And I know the virus isn't as prevalent in Europe right now because they have it a little better under control. However, I know that's a thought in the back of everyone's head.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even like Shakhtar this past game played in another like stadium, but I still think having like playing in that same country kind of gives them the familiar feel. Whereas like Wolfsburg had to travel down to Ukraine, I'm sure is like a much different feel and just like a different atmosphere for sure, even without fans. So yeah. I definitely agree. And I think just athletes for the most part are definitely like creatures of habit. And the second like something goes out, like when you're away, there's a different locker room, different like hotel you're staying at. So I think every little thing matters, and it's maybe even like exaggerated in a time like this.
Agreed. So when we make our bets and when we analyze these games, we're looking at all angles for you guys, even the weird ones where people don't think of, because there's advantages everywhere. But jumping into our third and final game, I personally think this is the one I'm most excited for. This one actually takes place in the next round. So 0-0, winner take all. Just to recap and refresh. So after this weekend, all matches in the Champions League will be a one match winner take all. The Champions League is taking place in Portugal, so they'll be playing in various stadiums in Portugal compared to the Europa League, which is in Germany. So the match we also want to highlight is PSG versus Atalanta. My initial look at this one is I saw Mbappe get hurt 2 matches ago for PSG. And since then, I don't think PSG have looked as nice as they usually do.
Right.
And watching Atalanta in the Serie A, since the restart, I don't think they've looked totally like themselves. They have one match where I think they beat Brescia 6-0. But beyond that, all their matches have been 2-1, 1-1, 3-1, not the usual 4-0, 5-0 that we see from Atalanta.
Yeah, and I think that may be partially like the circumstance. We saw Real Madrid do this, just like go 1 or 2 up and sit back and play defense. I think Atalanta did that a little bit. But yeah, Atalanta is also without Ilicic, I think, is one of their strikers. I think that's how you pronounce his name too. He's like, I think he's going back to either Slovenia or Slovakia. Not sure which one, but yeah, I think for personal reasons, he's going to miss the game. And I think that's a big miss. I think he's had 20 goals at least through all competitions. So it's a big miss. Atalanta does have like talent to back him up, but still a big miss. And I think it may be a bigger miss than Mbappe just because of PSG has the pieces to replace him. I know he's like way better and obviously considered best player in the world or close to it, but just missing Ilicic for Atalanta, I think, is a bigger deal to them. But I think the fact that this is a winner-take-all game, I kind of feel like we got like I would love to see this over 2 legs, basically. But winner take all game may just make I don't know what to expect in this game at all. PSG looked okay in their like cup games and some of their competitive matches, but I don't know how much we can draw from that, like what we've seen of them. But yeah, I have no idea what to expect in this one.
Yeah, and plus tactics change because it's a winner take all,
right?
Compared to a 2-legged fixture. Because I mean, sometimes you go away, you just want a 0-0 draw, take it home and get the victory. However, now you're playing neutral site, one match. You kind of want to go all out because you don't want to leave anything on the table.
Right.
However, you don't want to leave yourself susceptible at the back. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams play. However, I know PSG, they had, I believe it was like the Coupe de France,
Right.
where they played Saint Etienne,
Yeah.
and they won that one 1-0. They were up a man for about, I don't know, 60, 70 minutes. They couldn't bag the second. And then the following week, they had another France Cup game, and that one went to 0-0 all the way after 120 minutes.
Yeah.
So something's not clicking without Mbappe. Obviously, they have a week to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe like a week and a half. The other thing is obviously the French league, Ligue 1. They postponed play and never picked it back up. So one angle to look at is, are the French teams going to be rusty in this?
Yeah. And I know they've played a handful of friendlies getting back into this, but there's definitely a difference between a friendly and a Champions League match. There's like, no, I think no one can argue that, but that competitive match, I don't think anything kind of compares to it. So I don't know. I think there will definitely be some rust. You even saw with some of the German teams these past couple of days in the Europa, and they ended in kind of the beginning of July, I think, end of June. And they definitely, obviously, with some friendlies in there, but they've definitely looked a little rusty too. So definitely something to consider with PSG.
Yeah, definitely another angle to look at. However, we're at everyone's favorite part, which is the best bets. So even though Rex isn't here, he did throw us some best bets, but we'll do them at the end because he's not here, so he doesn't deserve to go first. However, I know Joey B had a great week the previous week before we left off, so I'll let him get started on this.
Yeah, it was actually, it was my first negative week, I think, being on the show, but I was only down 0.19 units. So I went 2-2. I'll live with definitely how the first couple weeks on the show have been, but I was going over my picks and I had to kind of look up what the actual results were because I forgot them because they were 2 weeks ago. But I had Everton and Bournemouth, both teams to score and over 2.5 was a win. Burnley money line was a loss. Inter and over 1.5 was a win, and then Cagliari plus 0.5 was a loss. So. Yeah. So how would you do last time out?
So for me, I actually ended the Premier League pretty strong. So I had Leicester United over 2.5. That turned out to be an L. I had Villa West Ham under 2.75 goals. That one kind of came close at the end. It was about 0-0 until the 80th minute, and then they scored 2 goals in about a span of 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So had to sweat that one out a little bit. I had Inter Milan minus 1.5. That one was a nice little plus money. And then finally, Man City team total over 3.5 goals. I believe they scored 5 goals against Norwich, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I think 3 of them were in the last 10 minutes too. I think they were up 2-0 for a while. So two close ones, I guess, for you.
Yeah, and we're not going to recap Rex. He had a ton of plays that I don't exactly remember what happened in the following weeks. But we'll go ahead and get started. Kick us off, Joey B.
Yeah, first play. I think I'll start off with this one because I know you are kind of on the opposite side here. But City and Real Madrid going both teams to scoring over 2.5. It's minus 125. Like I said, I think there's a chance we see this game going to extra time with Madrid up 2-1. But at the very least, I think Madrid's going to be attacking, and City has obviously a pretty deadly counterattack. So I I am always like hesitant to take. You never know with these games, like with Basel and Frankfurt today. Frankfurt was down 3 goals, and you would expect Frankfurt to come out and attack, and they didn't score a goal. So there's always a little bit of hesitation in using that as an angle because it can always backfire. Because Basel obviously just sat behind the ball and played defense the whole time and kind of kept them. So, but I just don't see City will probably defend more heavy than they normally do. But Real, I think both teams will score. City will probably hit them on the counterattack, and I just think one team will get 2 goals. And so that's kind of my thought process. I thought the price was good, especially when the total set close to like 3.25. There's a way that both of us could win this bet. So
hopefully, but like you mentioned, I'm on the opposite side. So I like Madrid City under 3.25 goals. And I know week in and week out, I talk about how I hate taking unders. Yet here we are again, taking another under. An angle I really like is high pressure situations and high, I guess, value matches is teams tend to play a little more reserved, a little more scared, just because you don't want to be the team that makes the mistake.
Yeah.
If Madrid gets scored on first and City have a 3-1 aggregate, I think that could almost seal the deal. However, from City's perspective, if they give up a goal, they go down 1-0, the aggregate's 2-2, now we're back to even. So neither teams want to be the team that makes that first mistakes and gives up the first goal. So I'm looking for this one to stay slow and stay low. Some other angles I look with it is towards the end of La Liga, Madrid's defense was impeccable. One of the best defensive records to finish out La Liga. Missing Sergio Ramos in the back will definitely hurt them a little bit, but I think Courtois has been absolutely amazing. City are missing Aguero, which they have been missing a little bit, and they're scoring goals perfectly fine. So I don't think that's too much to worry about. And the last thing I like is on the first leg of this one, I was actually on the over. I don't know if the over was set at 3 or 2.5. And I feel like I was lucky to get either a push or a win on that first leg. So I expect something similar this match.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think all 3 goals came after like the 75th minute or something last time. Or maybe 2 of the 3 or something like that. Because I just remember watching, everyone thought there was going to be goals. And then for the first half, at least more, it was slow. So I'd expect some of the same. But yeah, I mean, I think there may be a chance that City or one of the teams wins 3-0 and you still win your bet, at least half the bet. But I don't know. I think it's these games. I try to stay away from these early Europa games, especially because Europa is like so very volatile. I think compared to Champions League, but it is kind of like the start of a new season, or it's like another restart for these teams. So it is. I don't want to go in too deep with a lot of these games. But having said that, given my next bet, it's kind of a weird one. But it kind of takes a lot of the same points that AJ just said. But it's Juventus and Lyon. They play tomorrow, but it's for the most goals to be scored in the second half. It's even money. I thought it was a pretty good angle here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Lyon scored really early against Juventus last time and then just kind of held on. Or they may have scored late. I don't remember. But either way, I think this game, like you said, it's going to open up slow. It's going to open up like kind of both teams kind of cautious. The fact that Juventus is only down 1 goal kind of gives them a little breathing room to like play a methodical, slow game. And just because if they give up a goal, they then have to score 3 to advance or win by 2 goals to advance because of away goals. So even if there's 1 goal in the first half, I could see this game really opening up in the second half with 2 goals. So I do like the most goals in the second half and even money, or if you can take like the second half over 1.5 goals, I think both those are good options. The first half, I think you'll see both teams feeling each other out and just kind of playing a little cautiously, even though Juventus needs some goals here. But I could just see this like kind of getting really aggressive really late and opening up. So yeah, it's my second bet.
I like that pick because throughout the Serie A, Juventus have kind of been a slow starting team.
Right.
I believe they scored more than half of their goals in the second half. So they're a slow starting team, and they will get their goals second half. For me, my second pick is PSG Atalanta under 3, sits at -105 on Bovada. A couple of different angles that I've been looking at. I think Atalanta have a pretty good defense. They do play 3 at the back, but their fullbacks do push back a little bit. I think without Mbappe, PSG hasn't been clicking on all fronts. Um, and then I just look at the rust that PSG have a little bit. I'm not saying rust was a huge factor, but scoring 0 goals over 120 minutes and then 1 goal after being a man up for 70 minutes isn't that great. So I like the under here.
Yeah, I think it also goes. I mean, this is basically a cup final, like it is like winner take all. So they will be a little cautious. I think both sides, especially with like the hype surrounding this matchup. So for my next pick, I'm actually backing your Man United against Copenhagen. It's another different pick here, but I'm taking them halftime, full time against Copenhagen. So if they are up 1-0 at halftime and go on to win the game 1-0, then I win my bet. So they don't need to win both halves. They just need to be winning at the end of halftime and at the end of full time. I just think you saw them start slow against Lask, but I think they just beat Copenhagen from the start. Even if Copenhagen get the first goal, I think Man United may go into halftime up 2-1. So I think just it may be a wake-up call to them. I just have a hard time seeing them start slow in this match again, especially with I would assume all their starters are going to play, or all the normal players are going to play. And I think once they go up, they'll be a little more cautious. Not that Man U has the greatest defense, but it is Copenhagen. I don't know. It is. I mean, I think I saw they're -300 or -400 on the money line. Copenhagen are lucky to be here. Like I said, they barely made it out of the group stage and kind of, I think, had well-deserved wins in the earlier knockout stages. But I think their Cinderella run they got placed in the wrong bracket for sure. But yeah, halftime, full time. I think if Man U goes up 2-0 in the first half, they're going to hold on to that and not let it go. So.
Perfect. Well, I mean, as a United supporter, you already know I'm loving that. My only, I guess, concern with that pick is sometimes United play to the level of their competition.
Yeah.
So they see FC Copenhagen. They know Inter, Sevilla are in the following rounds. So a little worry about that. However, is if they do get scored on first, we saw it against Southampton, where they ended up getting 2 goals in the following 2 minutes. And like you did say, I do expect the starters to play. This is silverware for us to win, and I expect a full easy victory. Another angle I looked at was United to win and shutout. I believe that sits at +110, +115 on Bovada. So that one you're looking for a 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 victory, which is also very, very realistic.
Yeah, and with that plus money price, you can't really say no to it. So
exactly.
I don't know. I'll let you get into your next pick.
My final bet for this one is Napoli, Barcelona over 3, sits even on Bovada. We mentioned how Napoli have been super inconsistent, so that does worry me a little bit. However, Barcelona's defense has been a little shaky. Barcelona are missing 2 of their best holding midfielders, so they're missing Busquets and box to box of Vidal. So I look for things to open up, and I expect Messi and Suarez to bag 1 or 2. So worst case scenario, 1-0. 2-1, 1-2 sort of game push. However, like I said, I did like Napoli to pull this one out, so I could see a 2-2, 3-2. Just hoping for goals.
Yeah, I like that. And both defenses are pretty suspect. And obviously with Messi and the attacking options on Barcelona, they could hit 3 themselves. So, yeah, definitely like that one. And I got one more before we get to Rex's bets. But this one is, I believe, next Wednesday. I might be wrong. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. It's Atletico Madrid versus Leipzig. I initially saw this and was like, oh, definitely want to take the draw, given Leipzig's like the draw master of Germany and Madrid is the draw master of Spain. But I realized they don't have Timo Werner anymore. And Atletico, like, they have a pretty good path to the final. I think my bet's them on the money line at plus 130. Just the win in regular time. It is a winner take all game, like we've said. So I think there's a little risk this goes to extra time. But I think Madrid win this 1-0, 2-0. And if it goes in extra time, I'll be pissed I didn't take the draw because that was my first thought. But I just think Madrid have too much talent. Too much. Their defense is too good, and without Timo Werner, they're going to have a really tough time breaking down Leipzig.
And going against your gut is never a good feeling.
I know.
So we'll see how that pans off. And yeah, we'll throw out Rex's bets. So he's on 2 plays. So I'll take the first one. So his first one's in the Champions League. He takes Lyon +1, +120 against Juventus. So he likes Lyon to not lose completely to Juventus. Worst case is a loss by 1 goal and to push that one.
Yeah, I think a lot of his reasoning behind it is like the situation Lyon is in. I almost took Juventus to advance at -110, just as like not an underdog, but just because they have Cristiano Ronaldo and like all they got to do is win 2-0 basically. But if they give up a goal or two, then they got to win by 2 goals, and I think that's Rex's angle there is he doesn't think Juventus will win by 2 goals. So I don't mind that pick, and he definitely scared me off taking Juventus to advance. And then his last pick is Orlando money line. I believe that game is tonight, and they play Minnesota. The price is 139. He didn't give us any reasoning, not that he needed any, but I think Orlando's the home team. The home team in quotes. They're playing in Orlando, but not at their home stadium. But I think Minnesota's kind of the Cinderella of this tournament so far. I think they've kind of gone way farther than most people have expected. And so I don't know. I think it's just kind of a fade and overprice of Minnesota. So I think that's probably his reasoning. The money line looks to be a good price of plus 140, 139. But again, they have the fear of extra time. So yeah, I think it's a good pick. I don't know too much about the MLS, but I am just speculating on his reasoning. So I'm sure he'll give us some feedback on Twitter maybe tonight or something.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen Minnesota after they win, they play the song, I think Wonderwall or something like that. And they're super sick. So I usually would root for them. However, Rex is on Orlando, so I'll root for Rex and Orlando. But just to recap our picks heading into the Champions League and Europa League week with the MLS, I have Madrid and Manchester City under 3.25, sits at -125. PSG Atalanta under 3 sits at -105, and Napoli Barcelona over 3 goals, and that sits even, and they're all found on Bovada.
Nice. And so I got City and Real Madrid, both teams are scoring over 2.5 at -125. Juventus Lyon, most goals scored in the second half. And also if it is a tie, that would be a loss. So it's on a 3-way market. Man U halftime, full time -115, and then Atletico Madrid money line +130, and that game is next Thursday. I just thought we may see the line move away from them, so I just wanted to get it in now.
Perfect. And to recap, Rex, he has Lyon +1, +120, and Orlando money line +139. Any other things to add, Joey B?
I don't think so. Let's just hope we see a Wolves Man U semifinal in Europa. That'd be fun.
That would be your guys' redemption, because Rex throughout the restart was talking all this smack, saying, "Oh, Wolves are going to finish higher," and well, look what happened. But you guys do have potential for your revenge. Have to get through Sevilla first.
Yeah.
However, if we don't have anything else to add, I'll go ahead and sign us off. So you guys, both of us, write for The Breakdown. You can find us on thebreakdown.com. If you want to find us on Twitter, my Twitter is at @_VADUKUL. Rex's, we retweet Rex and interact with Rex a lot. So if you want to find him, you can find him through us.
Yeah, I think it's Rest Easy. Rest _easy, and the S is a Z. I may be very wrong on that, but I was thinking on it. Mine is _Joey B 23. Tweet about, I don't know, I like the Europa League a lot, so I tweet a little bit about that, a lot about Wolves. But thanks for tuning in and listening.
Perfect. Peace out, guys.
See ya.